What's going on, and welcome to the Solo Shot. My name is Tom Vecchio. We have a 12-game MLB slate tonight. It starts at 7:05. As always, this is one of the many shows on the FanDuel Podcast Network. You can find that anywhere, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Google, whether it's Spotify, you name it, you can find it there. The video version is on the FanDuel YouTube page and FanDuel TV Plus. Before we hop into things, get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawal bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, or Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat if you are in Connecticut. Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT if you are in Indiana. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit KS Gambling Help in Kansas. If you're in Louisiana, call 1-877-770-STOP. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. All right, let's jump into tonight's 12-game MLB slate. Again, lock is set for 7:05. We have a ton of great pitching options on tonight's slate. Really a wide variety when it comes to salary. We also have Coors Field on tonight's slate. There's a ton to get to. Let's just jump right into the pitching. And starting off up at the top, Kevin Gausman leads the way in terms of salary. He is 10.9. We have four options that are above $10,000 tonight. Starting off again with Kevin Gausman at 10.9, Zach Gallen at 10.7, Andrew Abbott at 10.3, Blake Snell at 10.2. We have two pitching options that we'll touch on, one below 9,000 and one below 8,000 that I really like tonight. So we have a ton to get to. Let's jump in, starting off with Gausman, who I'm going to have as the clear SP1 tonight. He comes in with a 31.7% strikeout rate, which is awesome, a 6.2% walk rate, allowing 0.96 home runs per nine, and he has a super solid 3.17 Sierra Skill Interactive ERA. Coming in mainly a ground ball pitcher at 42.9% and a medium contact rate at 45.3%. He's routinely pushing towards 100 pitches. We do not need to be worried about that. He's going to be out there. He's their ace. He's going to be out there for as long as really he needs to be. The matchup tonight going up against Washington is rather interesting, just based on the fact that the Nats don't strike out a ton. They come with a 19.1% strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching, which is the second lowest in the league. So they're somewhat disciplined at the plate in terms of not striking out, but at the same time, they're not generating a whole lot of walks. As a team, they come with a 6.6% walk rate, which is 28th in the league versus righties. So they don't strike out a ton, but they also don't generate a ton of walks. And more importantly, they're just not a good offense overall. They come in with an 89 WRC plus versus righties, which is 24th in the league. They have a 134 team ISO, which is 29th in the league. They have a 34.5% fly ball rate, which is 27th, and a 30.3% hard contact rate, which is 26th. So yes, they don't offer a massive amount of strikeout upside, but they're also not super dangerous in terms of power, putting the ball in play, generating walks. This is really a truly favorable matchup for Gausman, despite not being a massive strikeout matchup in his favor, it's still super, super solid for Gausman, and he is going to be my SP1 tonight. When it comes to Zach Gallen, I just don't have interest in him. Gausman is the number one tonight. I'm not interested in going to a pitcher I think Zach Gallen's great. I don't want to take a pitcher going up against the Dodgers lineup. It's really that simple. They're pretty good if you've heard. Andrew Abbott at 10.3, I think is really, really interesting tonight for the Cincinnati Reds. They're on the road. They are in San Francisco. This is a massive positive park shift for Abbott. He comes in with a 26.8% strikeout rate. 8.9% walk rate is right on that edge of being okay to being slight, an issue for him. Over 1 home run per 9, a 4.25 SIERA, which is certainly very solid. He does give up a 54.1% fly ball rate, which can be an issue. However, he does have a 53% medium contact rate. So he does give up a few fly balls, or the majority of fly balls, but they're not really being hit hard. So it is okay as of now. The Giants as a team, they are big time struggling versus lefties. 25.4% strikeout rate versus lefties, which is the 4th highest in the league. They have a 90 WRC plus, which is 25th, a 132 ISO, which is 29th in the league. And they also come in with a 36.3% fly ball rate, which is 20th in the league. So the thing that Abbott struggles with, which would be fly balls, the Giants aren't good at generating, and they don't have a ton of power in their lineup, and they're striking out, which should play really right into the hands of Andrew Abbott. So really liking him tonight as another viable option. Now, granted, if you're paying up for a pitcher above 10K and you can only get to Gausman or Abbott, I'm going to prefer Gausman. I'm going to prefer Gausman ahead of Zach Gallen. I'm going to prefer Gausman ahead of Abbott and Gausman ahead of Snell. This is where I think some of these other options, whether it be Abbott, whether it be Snell, this is where you can look to go for some leverage in tournaments where they should be less popular compared to Gausman, thus presenting a nice tournament aspect. Snell is okay tonight. I think Snell is obviously an amazing pitcher. I just prefer the matchup for Abbott going up against the Giants, who strike out more compared to the Cardinals versus Snell. And the Cardinals still have some power in their lineup, which is just better compared to the Giants. So I would take Abbott over Snell tonight on a 1-to-1 basis. Now, the two pitchers that are below 9,000 that I really like tonight, and like them not only because of their skill, their matchup, but what their salary opens up in terms of just overall lineup flexibility when we have a slate with Coors Field. That's what this really comes down to. Grayson Rodriguez for the Baltimore Orioles is 8,700. He's at home going up against the Chicago White Sox. Rodriguez, of course, a high prospect for not only for the Orioles, but just in terms of the MLB overall. He's been, sent up and down, et cetera, et cetera. He's still in a great spot tonight versus the White Sox. And given his salary at 8,700, this is a player that we really, really want to be considering. 1.55 home runs per 9 allowed for Rodriguez isn't great, but a 24.3% strike rate is certainly solid. 9.1% walk rate, again, right on that edge of being a little bit dangerous in terms of letting on, runners on base for free. But the matchup versus the White Sox is what we are interested in, combined with Rodriguez's salary at 8,700. The White Sox coming with a 23.6% strikeout rate versus righties, which is the 10th worst in the league. And more importantly, they have an 82 WRC plus versus righties, which is 30th in the league. That is dead last. So this is not an offense we really need to be worried about in any capacity. So I will take Rodriguez at a very, very friendly salary, sub 9,000, in order to open up that lineup construction when we're talking about, getting some hitters from Coors Field, which we will get to in a second. The next pitcher I want to talk about is Bryan Woo from the Seattle Mariners. He is 7,800. So you can spend up for Gausman at 10.9 tonight, which I think he's awesome. Absolutely worth, every bit of that salary, especially given the level of consistency that he's brought throughout the year. But 7.8 for Bryan Woo for Seattle. He's at home going up against the Oakland Athletics. This is not only a salary that I love, this is a matchup that I love. We've been attacking Oakland throughout the entire season. Every slate that they're on, any viable pitcher against them, we know what kind of fancy upside that they bring. Bryan Woo comes in with a 25.3% strikeout rate, 7.2% walk rate, 1.22 home runs per 9 allowed, a 3.99 skill interactive ERA. It's a SIERA. 42% fly ball rate is okay, but it's backed up by a 39% ground ball rate. So it's just slightly a fly ball pitcher for Bryan Woo. But more importantly, he has a 51% medium contact rate. So he's really not allowing the ball to get hit hard. And Oddly enough, Oakland, they don't hit the ball really hard at all. They have a 26.4% hard contact rate versus righties, which is 28th in the league. We also see Oakland striking out a lot, which is no surprise to anyone. They have a 25% striker rate versus righties, which is the third worst in the league. And of course, their offense is lacking power with a 145 ISO, which is 25th, and an 89 WRC plus, which is 23rd in the league. So it really shapes up just to be a great matchup for Bryan Woo, who again is 7,800 tonight. And that is just so helpful when it comes to lineup construction when we're talking about hitters that we want to be getting into our lineups from Coors Field. So pitching tonight is awesome. Awesome from top to bottom. Where you want to spend up for Gausman, that's great. You want to pivot to Andrew Abbott or Blake Snell. I'd probably prefer Abbott or I do prefer Abbott and Snell ahead of Zach Gallen. Just, again, not interested in taking a pitcher against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Grayson Rodriguez in that mid-tier at 8.7, and then a little bit less expensive, we can be going to Bryan Woo at 7.8. Let's hop over to stacks to look at tonight. And again, Coors Field is on tonight's slate. I generally don't like to talk about Coors Field because it's kind of a given when it comes to MLB DFS. We know what we're going to be getting from, Coors Field and the potential upside that the players can have. But man, I guess there's an exception to every rule, and that is because the Atlanta Braves are at Coors Field. The league's best offense is in the best hitting environment in the league. We have to make an exception to talk about the Braves. Now, they're going to be super popular. They are also super expensive tonight, where Ronald Acuna is 5,100. Matt Olson is 4,700. Austin Riley is 4,300. Sean Murphy is 42. Michael Harris is 4,000. Marcell Ozuna is 3,700. These are very, very expensive hitters to get into your lineups. And this is where Grayson Rodriguez and Bryan Woo come into play, where they make things a bit easier when it comes to rostering these top hitters. Getting up to Gausman and then also having exposure to the Braves is certainly tough. I would love to have a full stack of Acuna, Olson, Riley, Murphy that are all 4,200 and above, which is very expensive. But so that's where we need the sour relief when it comes to pitching. Austin Gomber's on the mound for the Colorado Rockies. Don't need to be worried about him. Don't need to be worried about the Rockies bullpen. The Braves put up seemingly 5-6 runs a game, no matter who they're facing. And now they're in the literal best hitting environment in the league. I will be taking the Braves in any exposure I can get to them, whether it's one-offs, whether it's 2-man stacks, 3-man stacks, full 4-man stacks, you name it. I want to be getting them into my lineups. Of course, if you want to go to the Rockies hitters as well, there's no reason you shouldn't be getting a little bit exposure to them. Where else can we be going on tonight's slate when it comes to stacks? I want to be looking at the San Diego Padres. They are on the road. They are visiting the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals will have Adam Wainwright on the mound, a pitcher that simply just does not have it this year. He's getting burned every time he's on the mound. He's allowing 1.86 home runs per 9. He has an 11.6% walk rate, which is so low. He's not really a threat to be making hitters swing and miss on the mound. He has a 7.9% walk rate, a 376 BABIP, which is batting average of balls in play, and overall he has a 5.74 SIERA. Wainwright is getting hit hard each and every time he's on the mound. We can look to the Padres tonight, who obviously have power in their lineup. Overall, they're not super expensive. Fernando Tatis is 3,700, Manny Machado is 3,400, and Juan Soto is 3,300. So their top hitters really aren't that expensive now. They a couple of days ago, they put Jake Cronenworth on the IL, so they've been mixing and matching their lineup, and it does present a little bit of salary relief tonight, which could be used as a bit of a secondary stack if you're trying to pay up for some of the Braves hitters. So what I mean by that is, Trent Grisham at 2,500, certainly a viable option. Garrett Cooper at 2,400, I think we also should be looking to tonight. But we see them mixing in Ben Gamel in the outfield. He's 2,000. That's the minimum salary. Also, the other day, Matthew Batten at 2,000 was also in the lineup, and he hit a home run. So we have two possible hitters that are both the minimum salary, 2,000, that could be in the lineup for the Padres tonight. So this is where the flexibility opens up. If we're pairing them with the Braves and Bryan Woo, this really, allows you to do whatever you want when it comes to stacking. So yeah, getting up to Machado and Tatis and Soto would be great, but also some other options for the Padres that are very, very affordable tonight. We should also be looking at the Texas Rangers tonight. They are on the road taking on the New York Mets. The Mets will have Taylor McGill on the mound tonight, a pitcher that we do not need to be worried about. And yes, the Rangers have been a little bit up and down as of late, some losses here and there. It's baseball. It's a long season. They still have a ton of power at the top of their lineup, and we want to be attacking McGill when we can. This season, McGill comes in with a 17.5% walk rate, a 17.5% strikeout rate, 10.9% walk rate, and 1.38 home runs per nine allowed overall. It's a 5.29 Sierra Skill Interactive ERA. So he's not striking out hitters with a 17% strikeout rate, and an almost 11% walk rate is so dangerous. So you're letting a hitter on for free, and then it's a single and a double and a walk and a home run, and all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 runs on the board when there's teams going up against McGill, which is what we want to be seeing from the Rangers, who, yes, still have a ton of power up and down their lineup. Again, I don't care about a few losses in a row for them, a bit of inconsistency as of late. It's a long season in baseball, but you give me exposure to Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien on a nightly basis, and I'm going to be excited. And yes, we can look to drop down and take Yona Heim or Mitch Garver, Ezekiel Duran, Leody Taveras, whoever might be in their lineup, whatever you can afford. I'm still going to be super excited to get some of those players, especially in this matchup going up against the Mets, who do, their pitching staff, they do offer a lot of fancy upside for opposing teams. So the Rangers have to be in consideration tonight, really liking the Padres tonight as well. And then the Braves are just the chalk of chalk tonight, given what we could be seeing from them at Coors Field. I mean, given what we can be seeing from the Braves on any night, and then they happen to be at Coors Field. So we could be looking there as well. Not going to be surprised to see, some people have exposure to the Baltimore Orioles tonight. Some of their hitters in their lineup, that won't be a surprise at all. Maybe some hitters from, the Pirates going up against Zach Greinke. I think there's a variety of ways to attack tonight's slate. If you want to spend all the way up for Gausman and you're looking for just some sad relief, that's certainly viable. If you want to go the opposite route, which is finding the relief when it comes to pitching and then paying up for all the top hitters, we're really going to be in a good spot. So let's close things out with some dinger calls, some home runs. The easy answer tonight, or at least I think one of the easy answers tonight, would be Matt Olson for the Atlanta Braves at Coors Field. He hasn't hit a home run in whatever, it's like a week or something, whatever it might be, but he's right up there at the top of the league. I think he's 1 home run behind Shohei Ohtani right now. An elite hitter. He's been putting up power left and right throughout the entire season. Doesn't matter who he's facing, and he happens to be at Coors Field. I will take Matt Olson as a pretty clear option for some power tonight. And then when it comes to another option, a little bit of a longer shot, let's go with an easy option with Matt Olson, and then like a fun one a little bit off the board. I think Trent Grisham for the San Diego Padres is in a great spot. And again, going up against Adam Wainwright, really not worried about that matchup when it comes to the Cardinals, not worried about the Cardinals bullpen at all. And I like the power that Grisham brings from the left side of the plate. So Matt Olson and Trent Grisham are my 2 home run calls tonight. Obviously, Matt Olson in an extremely favorable spot being in Coors Field. All right, so that does it for today's podcast. As always, it can be found, the FanDuel Podcast Network can be found across the podcast industry, whether it's iTunes, whether it's on SoundCloud, whether it's on Google+, whether it's on Google Play Store, whether it's on Spotify, you name it. It also can be found, the video version can be found on the FanDuel YouTube page and FanDuel TV+. You can follow me on Twitter at Tom_Vecchio1. Until next time, good luck in your contests.